You are listening to Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and the cryptids are cryptic as fuck. I'm Alanna.
And I'm Kelsey.
All right, sorry. And today we're gonna talk about drum roll,
Death Omens.
death omens. I think that was pretty good. That wasn't even rehearsed,
No, not at all.
and not a real drum.
No. Yeah.
All giggling out. Oh my God.
All right.
Okay, death omens. I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. So this is we had some technical issues the first time, so this is our second time trying to record my segment. So keep that in
Oh no.
mind. We've already
Yeah,
been through my segment once, so we both know what I'm going to say at all
sort of. It
times.
was a week ago. I
Yeah.
am definitely not remembering all of it, and it was pretty cool. So
Perfect.
I'm
Sounds
excited
good.
to again.
All right, so to start us off, I have some general information about death omens. Lots of people just
Yay.
refer to these as omens. So a lot of the research is just attributed to omens or kind of mistidings, things like
Plain
that.
old omens.
Yeah, but
Still
not the
good.
movie.
Still omen, not the movie.
Yeah, not the movie Omen. That's a different day.
And no Owen.
No
Owen?
Owens. No
Oh,
omens, no
whatever.
Owens.
No, no demons yet
Oh,
either.
no demons. No.
Get
That'll
there
also
though.
be another day. All
All
right. So, an omen, an omen, like an almond.
Oh
No.
no.
uh, an
It's the
omen,
French way.
an omen. Uh, an omen, also
La
called a
woman.
portent or presage, is a phenomenon that is believed to foretell the future, often signifying the advent of change. It was commonly believed in ancient times, and by some
Sorry,
today.
I had a question. Miss
Oh,
Miss Kelsey.
yes,
What how like the presage, is it just one word? Is it like
yeah,
Presage? Okay, I've
yeah,
just never heard
exactly
that
like it
term
sounds.
really before, so it's like,
It's straight from
yeah, cool.
Wikipedia. Copied and pasted. That's the
Ugh, all right, I've been
definition. Yeah,
schooled.
the first paragraph of an omen from Wikipedia.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's also just yeah, something a premonition-ish
Yeah,
deal.
I it kept being referred to as portent or presage. I don't really know, had never heard either of those words before, which was interesting.
Yep, no, that is cool.
So they're commonly believed in ancient times and by many, many today that omens bring divine messages from the gods. Uh,
Mhm.
Omens are in folklore and foretell of a person's impending death. Nearly every culture has its own unique death omens.
Uh,
Historically, death omens were more common before the age of medicine and biology because death was simply more common in that time. And today they're just often seen as just superstitions. As well in the
well,
Victorian.
people were more superstitious back then, sorry.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
because they just didn't know how to explain things. Like they were like science, what?
Yeah, they just didn't know
But
what was going on with like a lot of stuff.
yeah, so it was just a good way to explain it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And in
That's
the
cool.
Victorian era, it rose to a peak due to their obsession with the occult at the time.
Oh, the Victorian.
Yeah, they love their
That.
occult. As well in ancient Greece and ancient Rome, they used the direction of flight and a bird's cries to attempt to predict the future.
Oh, so like
Yeah.
depending on which way it was flying, that meant something was going to happen or not happen or whatever.
Yeah, like certain directions, I guess, meant certain things, and like birds probably cawing or making sounds in certain ways or with certain prompts and things like that. They probably just attached meaning to virtually everything.
Yeah, this would be terrible if the bird got drunk and just started zigzagging all over the place.
Right? A foggy day and it can't see, and it's just like, oh no, where'd the bird go? What does it mean? Yeah. Uh, so, death omens can be signs of nature, such as cloud formations or storms, and as well as signs that occur naturally, such as the way wax drips from a candle or the appearance of coffin-shaped cinders in a fireplace. Um, so people, I guess, I like staring at fire. I feel like it's a great way to pass the time. I don't sit there and try and use it to predict the future, whether or not I'm gonna die, but I do like looking at fire.
Shall we call you Melisandre?
Sure, but I'm not gonna like burn anybody at the stake. So
No, but it's remind me of like tea leaf reading and stuff like that.
yeah. Death omens can even be attributed from accidental things, such as a chair falling over backwards if a person rises from it too quickly.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's like we all have done that before.
Oh yeah, most of these people have done and probably didn't know. Death is foretold by the appearance as well by certain animals, insects, or birds that are associated with death, the underworld, and spirits of the dead. Blackbirds
Yeah.
and night birds, such as rooks, ravens, owls, and crows, are widely regarded as death omens.
That makes sense, black.
Yeah, black everything is bad. Another common omen is a
Well,
phantom death coach,
now.
drawn by phantom black horses and driven by a headless man that stops at the houses where someone will die the next day. Other phantom vehicles, such as boats, cars, and trains, are also death omens. Their appearances may mean that they have come to take away the souls of the dead. So you don't want to see no like headless man driving a carriage with black horses on it.
No, and don't get in if he offers you a ride.
If he appears, don't get in the vehicle. Don't get in the vehicle with strangers that are headless, okay?
No, yeah, PSA.
Yes, PSA. All right, so into some specific omens and death omens. One of the more popular ones are crows. So seeing a single crow is considered an omen of bad luck. Finding 2 crows, however, means good luck. 3 crows means good health. And 4 crows means wealth. Yet spotting 5 crows means sickness is coming. And witnessing 6 crows or a murder of crows means death is nearby. So crows kind of go back and forth depending how many of them there are.
What if I just don't count them?
Right, just see one crow and just immediately close your eyes. I guess,
like
or count 2. Count 2 or 3, or 4, and then stop counting. If you see 1, just close your eyes. If you see 2, 3, or 4, then stop counting. And if you count more than 4, just leave. Because, well, 5 and 6 mean bad things.
Yeah. I've definitely heard versions of that one.
Yeah.
Like little rhymes and stuff. Yeah. Which is cool.
So some cultures believe crows are messengers between this world and the next, and in the Middle Ages, people believed witches used crows to cast death spells.
Oh, they like any black animals, I guess.
Yeah. On to the next one here is black cats. So they're one of the most famous omens around the world. They're a sign of approaching death for you or someone you love. And
they're not choosy.
What?
They're not that choosy who they
No,
take.
just you or someone you love.
Everyone be on the lookout, please.
Yeah.
I saw my friend's black cat. Actually, that's true because she sent me that text this morning of when her black cat got stuck up in a tree. Does that count?
I don't think pictures count.
Consult the records.
Right? There's a German superstition that a black cat will sit at the bedside of a person who is sick as a sign of their approaching death. A black cat meowing at midnight is also an omen.
So, oh, when you gotta get the hell up and deal with it.
Yeah, just yell at it. Go away!
Go back to sleep, marbles. I don't know.
Uh,
Oh my God.
so, black cats crossing the path of a funeral is also an omen that a family member of the deceased will also die soon. And
Oh, lovely.
yeah. And because of all these many superstitions around surrounding black cats, they're adopted significantly less than other colors of cats. So go out and adopt a black cat because they're
Yeah.
adorable. And
And you're probably not going to die any sooner than you would if you didn't. In fact, you have an animal, so you're probably going to live longer.
yes, that's scientifically proven that an animal makes you less stressed. I know
Right.
my cat made me less stressed during COVID because I just got to annoy her a whole bunch when I was sitting at home. And she's like, "Why are you here all day?" And I literally would just like poke her, wake her up from sleep, like constantly, just because it was fun and I was bored. And so she probably got real annoyed, but then she became severely attached to me. And now, like, when I leave for work or anything, she's like at the door to greet me. It's just like, "You're back." And
Oh,
yeah, which she never did before. Yeah.
oh, that feeling like you're just their favorite person. And
Yeah.
they just can't believe you're home.
Yeah, you're finally here, my human. Yeah.
Oh, I know. My dog gallops towards me. I don't know
Yeah.
what he thinks he's gonna do because I'm just gonna sidestep him like a bullfighter guy.
Yeah. And just be like, I have stuff to put down. My arms are full.
Basically. Oh,
Yeah.
they're so
Yeah.
cute.
Pets are the best.
He's a little puppy.
He's not a little puppy. He's so big.
No, that's true.
He's cute.
I just can't stop saying that because I've been watching too much Parks and Rec.
Oh, he's just a little puppy. Yeah,
Yes,
Tom
I'm so
Haverford.
sorry.
He's just a little puppy. And the dog is just licking
Thank
Ron
you.
Swanson's face. It's just a little puppy.
I know. Didn't you introduce me to that show? I have so much
I'm
to thank
pretty
you
sure
for.
I did. I'm pretty sure I gave you my box set of it. Yeah. It's on Netflix now. Netflix Canada. Whoop whoop. Parks and Rec.
This is not sponsored by Parks and Rec,
Or Netflix.
unfortunately.
All right.
Yeah.
So move back to death omens. Another one is called a Death Watch beetle. So they are a pest known for damaging wood furniture and houses. So they,
Not good.
oh, very bad. They hit their head on wood to attract mates, and the tapping and knocking sounds heard are often heard at night in the dark and are associated with sleepless nights because it can be quite loud. This is an omen of misfortune as well as death.
Oh, because you're gonna be so enraged that you're gonna kill your spouse or vice versa.
Right?
The
Yeah,
lack of
because you're
sleep.
just tired. Yeah,
It's more just a self-fulfilling prophecy.
yeah. Similar one here
Slept so. Yeah.
is death knocks. So it's an old superstition that 3 knocks at your door. If you check it and no one is there, death is coming for you. They're also called the knocks of doom. And many different
Oh,
cultures, such as Irish, Scottish, and Native American communities, have this death knock superstition, and it's been used in many horror movies.
ew,
Yeah.
that's creepy.
So one of the most interesting ones I found here is also the Doppelganger death omen. So Doppelganger is a German word
Yeah.
meaning double goer and refers to an exact replica of someone born to different parents. It's in German and Irish folklore that seeing your own doppelganger is a sign of your own imminent death.
That's not good.
No, that would just freak me right
Mm,
out. I
I don't like it.
I never want to see my own. That would just creep me out. Uh,
Yeah, it's like even just even when someone just you meet that someone's like, oh yeah, you gotta meet this person, like they look like you. I had someone like that in high school where people would almost get us mixed up,
oh
and
wow.
even that was creepy.
Yeah.
And we weren't like obviously identical or anything, but it was just like, whoa.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah.
So, doppelgangers are commonly called an evil twin, and talking to your doppelganger can plant sinister or evil ideas inside your own head. So, don't talk to them if you see your own evil twin or doppelganger.
If you're not already.
Yeah, it doesn't
You don't
attach to
die.
regular twins.
Oh, good.
Yeah, this has to be somebody born of different parents.
Ooh, evil twins, though.
Yes.
Good idea for an
Yeah. Celtic
episode.
folklore has legends of a fairy creature known as a changeling who steals children and replaces them with doubles who would become sick and die. This meant that parents could hope that their real children were alive with the fairies, when in actuality, their children had just actually become sick and died. So it is kind of a way of coping.
Right. Yeah, if they could just tell themselves that at least it wasn't their child.
Yeah, which I don't know
I did
which is
watch
worse.
no, and then like I guess I don't know, maybe it's not I haven't seen a lot in folklore, but I did watch an episode of Lore the other day, which is a podcast turned also TV show if you've ever seen it on like I don't know, Netflix or Prime or whatever it was.
Mm.
And it was like it was an Irish man and the husband thought his wife was a changeling after she didn't come home one night or something.
Oh wow.
Uh, I don't know. It was also like she was being like I don't know what to say, more like aggressive and like it was the century this like 17th century or whatever, and so it was just or 18th century, and so it was like, well, you can't be my wife, you're talking back, and what the hell, and like it was creepy. It's
Weird.
not to say they acted out like where he's like kills her, and then you're like, okay, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, not cool.
No. So there
Good
are
episode.
two uh cases where somebody did see their own doppelganger that are recorded in history, which are kind of interesting. So Queen Elizabeth I was rumored to have seen her own doppelganger reclining in her bed looking pale and lifeless just a few days before her own passing,
Ew,
as
that's
well as,
creepy.
yeah, that would be creepy, just like walking into your room and just like you're already in bed, just staring at yourself, but you look dead. That would be so creepy.
It can't be good. You're like,
No.
that can't be great.
Yeah, not good. Just leave the room. As well as
There.
Abraham Lincoln, who told his wife that he saw two reflections in the mirror as soon as he had been elected president, and his wife accurately predicted that this apparition meant that Abraham Lincoln would be elected a second term, but he would not survive the second term, which we all know is true. And if you didn't know
Yeah,
that,
specific.
spoiler.
Spoiler, kids, if you haven't got to that class yet.
Yeah, spoiler alert, it's history.
That is creepily like specific though. Like the
Yeah.
way it predicted the second term. Yeah. By seeing
Yeah, that's
himself
kind of
twice,
cool.
was it? Yeah.
Yeah, he looked in the
Yeah.
mirror reflection and he saw two reflections looking back at him. So
Ew.
they didn't say if it was, you can probably do more research. I don't know if it was beside him or behind him or what the other one looked like. It just said that he saw two reflections.
Yeah. Well, maybe there isn't a lot written about it or whatever, but
Yeah.
that's just two like well-known historical figures. There's probably more
Oh,
instances.
yeah. And like
Mm.
normal, everyday people that saw their own as well.
Yeah.
Another naturally occurring one here is solar eclipses. So, in ancient Greece, an eclipse was believed to be caused by angry gods and signals impending danger or death.
Oh, hot
Even
fudge.
today, it's seen as an omen of death and disasters. And some cultures believe eclipses are dangerous to pregnant women and children.
Oh,
Yeah,
weird flex, but okay.
right. Well, it's dangerous to anybody if you look directly at it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
not just pregnant women and children. Uh, so, in many parts of India, people fast during an eclipse, as it is believed that food cooked during an eclipse is poisonous. Not really
Eat,
sure what the reasoning on that one is.
eat a salad.
Eat a salad. And the passing of King Henry I was believed to be predicted by an eclipse as well.
What? Because he
Yeah.
saw he
Uh,
predicted.
that I didn't have much information on. I just had that
Okay.
statement. I'm sure you could do more research, just like Abraham Lincoln and Queen Elizabeth I.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
there's more information out there.
Lots about doppelgangers, I'm sure. Yeah, stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, many horror movies as well with doppelgangers and evil twins. It's interesting.
Hmm.
Another interesting one here is phantom funerals. So, phantom funeral is when a person witnesses a ghostly procession. So, that's a funeral walking along the route of an actual funeral that will take place in the future. And details such as the participants of the funeral, what they were wearing, are often later observed at the real funeral. And it said that peeking into the casket of the phantom funeral, you will see your own dead body, and death will inevitably follow.
Uh, just don't do it. Hope you
Yeah,
never see one of those.
right. So crossing in front of a real funeral procession invites death to your family. So if you see a funeral going by or a procession or people going, just wait or walk around them. Don't go in front of them.
Say something, say something. See a
Yeah.
funeral. Say, everybody, look out.
And so Welsh folklore has its own saying for this. So in Welsh folklore, phantom funerals are known as toleth before the burying or burying. Witnesses
Yeah.
can hear songs, hear the marching, crying, or sobbing of mourners. And it is said that only one sense can be affected at a time. So you may be able to see it, but not hear it, or hear it, but you can't see it. Or once that you have heard it, you'll stop being able to see it, but you'll be able to hear it. It's back and forth. So if you see it, you can't hear it, and if you can hear it, you can't see it. So, but one person could experience both being able to see and hear it. You just wouldn't be able to experience those at the same time. It may go from one to the other, which would be quite weird, like being able to hear something and then suddenly stop being able to hear it and it just appears in front of you out of nowhere. That
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
be like
Anything
weird.
like yeah, it's very again like specific oddly.
Yeah.
Out like a bad TV reception or something.
Yeah, where it's just like something's cutting out. Like sometimes the signal cuts out, but you can still hear it, or you can see it, but your sound isn't
Give it
working.
yeah, give that computer a kick and it starts back up.
Yeah, adjust your TV antenna.
Please stand
And
by.
please, we are experiencing technical difficulties, just like we were when we first tried recording this. But now I
Oh,
think we're good. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. And so I have some miscellaneous death omens here. I don't have much background on most of them, so we're just kind of gonna run through some of them here before we get to the last one.
Cool, cool,
Uh,
cool. Because I only
so
have one story.
yeah, that's why I'm going first. I kind of have like general information. So,
Nice. Yeah.
uh, another common death omen is black dogs. So they're primarily found in folklore of the British Isles and throughout European mythology, and they're seen as a symbol of death and often viewed as the guardians of the underworld.
The Grim.
Yeah, the Grimm, that's what everything came up as when I tried to look up black dog. All the
Oh,
Grimm.
favorites.
Yeah. And according to Celts, black butterflies are the souls of deceased people who fail to find their way in the afterlife. So that's kind of sad.
Oh, and also what about monarchs? Is that like totally black? Because I've never seen a totally black butterfly. That's weird.
I don't know how common fully black butterflies are. I feel like there has to be them because there's pretty much like every combination of butterfly out there. There's probably one that's all black.
Mm-hmm. Likely.
Yeah. And so a example of death omens causing something that like how they build things is burying the dead facing east. So the layouts of most cemeteries are so that the dead can see the new world rising in the east or the sun. So most cemeteries and things like that are burying the dead so they're facing east so they can see the sunrise, which is quite interesting because you wouldn't expect cemeteries even today that are being built to be a very superstitious place.
Yeah, that is a weird superstition. It's a
Yeah.
I have heard some of different ones about graveyards though, about like I think there's a Scottish one where like the last person buried there like guards it until the next person's buried there. But what if it's one that's out of use? They'll be
Oh,
there a long
yeah.
time.
And so examples of some animals here again. So owls, if you walk under a tree at night and you hear an owl, it means a family member will die soon.
Oh, I I found myself looking for owls, like fake ones in their yards and stuff. But like I do remember you saying that, and I was just like, oh damn, that's when you can look for like all the time.
Yeah.
Where there's
And
owls.
an owl perched on a roof of a house is also a sign that's of death to someone that you know.
Wait, what was the first one again? If it was not the
It's
roof?
walking under a tree at night and you hear the owl.
Oh, walking under the tree, and if it's on the roof, great.
Yes.
Doubly
Yeah.
deathly.
Yeah, just owls in general, I guess.
Freaky creatures.
Broken dishes or family pictures also can foretell death.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I'm like, I've broken a lot of my dishes. I don't have a dishwasher, so I have to wash them by hand. So a lot of mine are chipped. So,
Oh, is that what don't the Greeks say like Opa after they break something? I wonder if that's to like
yeah,
is that to like ward away?
I think it's a sign of good luck to them, but it goes
Mm,
against the research I found on here.
we'll go with the Greeks on that one. No.
Yeah. As well as peach trees that bloom early can foretell death of a family member. That's peach trees, I guess.
Oh no.
That one
Not so
seems so
peachy.
strange to me. Yeah, not so
Yeah,
peachy.
no. I'm not peachy keen on that one.
As well
What
as
else
this
though?
one, I don't really understand this one. So they're corpse candles or will-o-wisps are balls of light. So they just
Okay.
kind of look like misty, kind of like a firefly in the fog, I would attribute it to. It kind of just looks like a little
Oh,
light.
I
So
think I've
it's
heard of
just
that,
kind
like
of,
Will of the Wisp, Will of the Wisp, something like
yeah,
that.
will-o-wisps.
Some capacity.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're balls of green light that hover over swamps and marshes at night. And if one flies by your house, then I guess someone will die.
Oh, cool. Cool, cool, cool.
In parts of England, if the first lamb born to a farmer is black, it foretells a family death within a year. And this is just in general, the color black has been associated with Satan since the 15th century. So that's why a bunch of black animals are the most
Oh,
common ones to be um, death omens or people have superstitions about.
yes, like the black sheep of the family.
Oh, yeah, this is the black lamb.
Interesting. It's so
Yeah.
similar though. I wonder if it's
Yeah,
where it comes from, maybe.
maybe it could be along the same like time it came about,
Mm-hmm.
probably in England
Farm,
too.
farm animals.
Yeah, as
What's
well, I guess
wrong? Oh God.
White
So great.
animals are also bad.
Oh great. You
So
just
white,
can't win.
yeah, no. White horses are associated with warrior heroes, saviors, and magic. They also represent death and bad luck.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
because why not?
yeah, exactly. Why not be both?
They're counterintuitive.
Yeah. One here is the White Lady. So, the White Lady who appears in a home where a family member will perish is an omen around the world. Many
I'm a
names
white
around the
lady.
world. You're a white lady. I'm a white lady too.
I'm in a house right now.
What?
I'm in a house right now.
I'm in a house right now. Me too. I'm haunting this
Oh
house. We're recording a
no. I'm
podcast. We're
haunting.
two ghosts. We're the first ghosts to record a podcast.
Oh, but I did hear something. I can't remember who said it or what. Maybe it was on a podcast, and they were like, someone I think maybe wrote into the podcast like, I never feel more like a ghost like when I'm yelling at a podcast because they can't hear me when you're like telling, oh, you're saying that wrong or whatever.
Oh my God. I just yell at horror movies when people make bad decisions. I
Well, you
get
have to.
I get I get most often mad at the white lady in the horror movie who's acting like an
Tripping over
idiot.
feet. Yeah.
Yeah, or she hits the guy that's trying to kill her over the head with his own weapon and then leaves the weapon on the ground and runs away. Like, take that weapon.
Done with that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a gun. Not like it has any more bullets. Don't take it with me. Or
Oh
don't
yeah.
shoot the guy in the head after you knock him unconscious with it. Shoot him in the head. Shoot him in the head until the cartridge is empty, and then you sit there and you make sure he don't move. Like,
Exactly. Double tap that shit.
yeah, double tap, triple tap, all the taps. Make sure he can't get up.
Those are the rules from that Zombieland movie,
Yeah, the second one,
yeah.
double, and the first one, double tap, and wear your seatbelt.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Forgot about that one.
I love that movie.
Oh, good.
All right, so back the white lady. So
The
many
what?
names
Like,
and omens here around the world. So there's Dama Branca in Brazil, and she is a woman who died in childbirth. There's
oh,
Les Dame Blanches, and she is a supernatural being in France. Well, in Germany, she was the wife of a stately prince. So most of the stories of the White Lady in each culture have kind of a difference in what her background is, things like that, and why
yeah.
she is a haunting figure.
It's my favorite theme.
Yeah, could probably do a whole episode on just her. There's a lot.
There's always a white lady, a bride lady,
Yeah, even just
ghost.
people
Yeah.
when they talk about, I can't remember what city it is, but I heard through something there was a city, I think it's in the US, where there was so many ghosts that took rides in taxis that disappeared halfway through, and then the cab drivers were left like footing the bill for the fact that they just drove a ghost around. That there was like literally a thing put in place that they like wouldn't pick up these people, or they had to pay first after a certain time of night. It's crazy. Yeah, because they'd just be like driving to the destination, and then they'd one time just like glance into the mirror and realize partway through the drive that their fare had disappeared, which
Oh.
would be messed up. Yeah.
Yeah. They like see someone. They're like, you're looking a little see-through there, buddy. Why don't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'll have to look that up. Where's the most haunted ride share city?
Yeah, there's one. It had a huge problem. Like all the cabbies banded together and had to make this thing like passed through their local government or something. It was like ridiculous because so many people had it. Like all the cabbies banded together and had this put in as a rule. Yeah, because it was
Ghost is
that
like,
bad.
I gotta go outside. I left my wallet in the house.
Poof! I'm gonna
Run
transport there.
the
Yeah. So in as another one here, which I think is just weird. So in Appalachia, there's a thing called death crowns, and they can be found inside the pillow of a sick person. They're essentially just created by feathers clumping together in kind of a circular shape. I guess you could put it on your head and consider it a crown. And it's believed to be caused by a person's tossing and turning in sleep, so that I guess causes the feathers to move and kind of weave together in a circle.
Yeah, what are you doing opening up your pillow anyway?
Yeah, it literally just said rip up open your pillow. And it's like, what? Like, don't wreck the person's pillow. They're already sick.
Yeah, I don't need that to see what's
Yeah,
happening here.
yeah. Uh,
Oh,
Interesting here in Japanese culture, sleeping with your head facing north can be seen as a bad omen, as their dead are laid to rest facing north. While in Africa, it is the west that is the bad omen, and their dead are laid to rest facing the west. So kind of same kind of superstition, just a different direction.
okay.
This one I found funny. You could use it as a great excuse. During the medieval era, brooms should not be used during the month of May because it would invite death into your home, as well as a broom falling over also meant death was on its way. So you can use the medieval superstition
Oh,
to avoid sweeping your house in the month of May.
and ever picking up your broom lest it should fall over.
Yeah, just leave it there. Just buy a new one.
Mop that shit. I don't know. That's really weird.
Just vacuum from now on. During the Victorian era, umbrellas being opened inside meant a family member would be murdered. Not even just die, but be murdered. And that's still a
Yeah.
common superstition today.
Oh, yeah. I always heard it was unlucky.
Yeah, so that's where it comes from. We don't hear that you'll be murdered, though. We just know it's unlucky. Like walking under a ladder. I'm surprised that didn't come up in my research, actually.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
And then that one seems to be explainable by the sheer logic of like something might fall on you if people are
yeah,
working overhead. So it's just more likely, it's more probability.
probably. Uh,
Ah, that's fine.
This one I found funny. So in Korean culture, it is believed that sleeping in a room with a fan going while your windows are closed will result in immediate death. And fans are often sold with
Great.
timers to prevent them from being accidentally left on during the night. So they have a timer that shuts them off at a certain time of night, so you can't accidentally leave them on. So,
But it's hot sometimes.
right? That I find strange that
Oh,
like commercially their fans are available with this feature because it's such a prevalent superstition.
some Asian superstitions are very permeating.
Yeah.
Every aspect of their culture, their hotels won't have, certain number of floors because they're unlucky. Just
Yeah,
there's a
same with
lot
like
in that.
airlines. Airlines won't have like a 13th row and
Hey, that's just
yeah, they don't.
triskaidekaphobians.
So people often
Oh,
associate there's a lot of things with mirrors, or called
mm,
looking glasses. So common, everybody knows if you break a mirror, it's 7 years of bad luck.
yeah.
As well in the US, if you hold a baby in front of a mirror or it sees its reflection in the first year of its life, it apparently will die.
Oh,
Yeah.
what sees its own selfie?
Yeah. That's
Update that.
essentially what a camera is. It's some involves some mirrors and glass. So, uh, that's not great.
No.
Covering mirrors in the home of a deceased person was first recorded in northern England in the late 1700s, so that's also common.
Okay.
Yeah, it was said that the not covering the mirrors um, allowed people that were in mourning and things like that, seeing their own reflection, that they would be um, forced to like look at themselves and think about themselves when they should be mourning the person that passed away, and focusing on that instead of how they look, whether or not they're crying, things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. Uh, Opals are viewed as vessels of evil and are associated with witches, sorcerers, due to their likeness of the eyes of cats, toads, and snakes. During the Black Death, it was realized that the opal would change colors due to the warmth when somebody had a fever, as well as changing to a different color when the person died because of the cooling of their body. This is
Oh,
associated with mood rings and how those also change colors.
that's fucked up.
Yeah, right? Just be like
I
a
mean,
mood ring, a death mood ring.
yeah, it foretells the death in that they're cold. They got nothing left in there.
Yeah. And then so
Yeah.
if you got, I guess if like the opal changed to a certain shade, it meant you had a fever. So I guess it's like a thermometer. I'm
But
messed
it's
up.
still, oh yeah, it's still crazy though because it's like there are different types of opals. They call them fire opals, black opals, whatever, so it's not like an opal is just one shade. So it's really neat.
Yeah, I didn't see anything talking about like specifically which ones, so I'm not sure if it's all of them or like what
Mm,
type. It just said opals.
they all bad.
Yeah. Pick a
Don't worry.
different stone,
I've been wearing one. I'm still alive.
right? Yeah. All right. Are we good to go?
Back. Yep.
All right.
We're back from our break.
All right. So, last but certainly not least, my favorite death omen that I came across during my research is
Ooh.
something I'm super excited about.
Oh.
It is
Which
called Halley's Comet.
one?
Halley pronounced like valley. It should rhyme.
Okay. I got a little confused about that when I was younger because I thought there was one called Halley's Comet too, and I just didn't even know if maybe there was two, and I
I
wasn't sure.
don't really
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um,
Not our area of expertise, I guess.
yeah, I'm not a scientist.
I
Uh,
do science, please, like that little penguin meme. I would like to science, please.
I would like to purchase one science, please.
All right, continue.
So Halley's Comet orbits the sun every 75 to 76 years, and it is believed to have orbited the sun for at least for the last 200,000 years, with
Shit.
historical references dating back to ancient worlds.
That's pretty damn old.
Yeah, I find it really interesting. So one of the first sightings was in 466 BC, and it was stated that it was visible for approximately 75 days over Greece, and they described it as wagon-sized. So how it looks, it is believed to just be like ice, mostly. So when it,
Wagon sized.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. So I
Sorry,
think
sorry,
they
sorry.
thought it was like a wagon in the sky, just because of
Mm,
how it's kind of shaped. So it's like a ball of ice, and when it goes in front of the sun, it kind of reflects the sun, so it looks pretty like fiery. And then it's said to have kind of like three tails coming off of it. So, um, the two are just like the atmosphere around it being, um, and the gases it's giving off are two of the tails, and then the
okay,
middle one is the actual like comet itself.
I
So I can see
see.
how they kind of think it's a wagon because it is kind of like U-shaped. Um,
Yeah, and distorted around it by the sounds of
yeah.
it. Yeah. Cool,
Um,
cool, cool.
so that was in 466 BC. But one of the first confirmed sightings ever was recorded by Chinese astronomers in 240 BC when they called Halley's Comet
Jeez.
a broom star. Uh, Halley's Comet has been blamed for earthquakes, illness, red rain, birth of two-headed animals, as well as the Black Death in England. So there's a lot of bad things that have been associated with it.
Oops, I did it again.
Yeah.
That comment.
Yeah. Just like, oh, damn. So
Taking all the blame.
yeah, you could blame pretty much anything on this thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Something else
In
bad 5 years or whatever.
in 66 BC, the comet was described as a star resembling a sword and was considered to foretell of the destruction of Jerusalem by the Romans.
66 BC.
Yeah.
How do we know it wasn't older and it just was like we didn't have recorded, you know what I mean? Records.
Well,
Recorded.
so how the
Time.
BC AD works is up until there's no zero. So there's 1 BC, which is 1 year before 1 AD. So 1 AD leads up until now. So up until
Right.
so we'd be like 2021 AD. That's what we're in right now. So up
I
until
just mean
then,
like you could think it maybe was around before, like
the
we were.
oldest is 466 BC.
That's pretty fucking old.
Yeah, I put these in order of the oldest. So up because there's no
Yeah.
zero, BC kind of works like -1, -2. Like as the
No,
number
no,
gets
I
bigger,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. I just thought like because I'm more saying like it could be even older than we know.
Oh
We
yeah.
haven't been recording like things that as long as maybe it's been around. Possibly.
Yeah, because they'd be
Yeah.
this would be like 2000 and about 500 years we'd be looking at for historical records from the first time it was ever seen. And they were saying they believe it's approximately 200,000 years old. So we have 2,500 years worth of sightings of it. But they think it's about 200,000 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Right? That'd be very interesting. I would love to hear
he's
more about this thing.
oh,
It was so interesting when I was looking up, and it's actually quite pretty, and like the like tapestries and everything it's shown in, it's actually quite cool.
yeah.
And to think that that was like around before like really even possibly like history could be like documented and stuff. It's been around that long and you're seeing it and it's pretty much exactly the same. Like that you're
Wow.
seeing
It's
what
not
they saw like 2,000 years ago, I think is amazing.
It's like time traveling.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the sky, because the sky like doesn't change. So the sky is like one thing that anytime you look up the stars and stuff like that, it's all like the same. That's what everybody's seeing, at least with the naked eye. That's what everybody's seen always when they look up, which is very cool.
Right, because we aren't even alive long enough to appreciate that how slow changes would happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Our
Extremely
time.
slow when you're talking about space. Yeah. So, possible sightings by Babylonians who recorded the comet on clay tablets in 164 BC and 87 BC, as well as Romans recording it in 12 BC. So, those ones are not verified, but I think online they do have pictures of the tablets of these recordings, which is kind of interesting.
Cool. Could have
Yeah.
been aliens, I guess.
It's just the alien spaceship
50-50.
visiting us every 74 to 76 years. And then
Well, because
passing us by and being like, no thanks, we'll come around next time.
oh no, I guess I don't have time to get into that rabbit hole, but you're like, yeah, it's like how they say on like the Ancient Aliens show that they just didn't know what spaceships looked like, or like like halos, could have been the spacesuit helmets, and just like it's just representations of things they didn't understand yet. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
a whole nother topic.
So getting into some of the sightings that have negative things attached to it, in June of
Nice.
451, sightings then saw Attila the Hun invading Roman France and subsequently defeating, or his subsequent defeat in the Battle of
Waterloo.
Catalanian Plains.
Nice.
Google it.
Nailed
I don't know.
it.
In 837, a Roman emperor, Louis Le Puy, feared that the comet
Oh,
signaled
Le Pew?
Le Poix?
Pepe Le Pew?
Le Poix? I don't know. Pious. Le Poix. Sure. Feared.
Oh, because yeah, pois is like peas.
Yeah.
Means peas. Okay, gotcha.
Feared the comet signaled his downfall, and he tried to protect his family by fasting, praying, and doing alms to the poor. So he tried to kind of give penance and everything, because he was afraid of the comet. Which, I mean,
Yeah.
back then they wouldn't have like studies and everything on it. It would probably be viewed as something scary to see that like a fiery ball just flying through the sky.
Yeah. We can't hurt his karma any though.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good.
In 1066, Halley's Comet is attributed to King Harold II of England's death, as he witnessed the comet before his final battle. On the flip side, it was actually a good omen for William the Conqueror, who's the one that defeated King Harold. So that's an example of one.
Praying hard.
Yeah, William the Conqueror was happy.
He
Yeah.
appeased the comet.
So that's an example of the comet being viewed two different ways at the same sighting. So one viewed it as their downfall, one viewed it as their success.
Right.
Halley's Comet is depicted in the famed Bayeux tapestry, showing King Harold and a crowd of fearful Englishmen watching it streak through the sky. It's actually a pretty nice tapestry. And you can see how they talk about the three prongs that you see in the sky. That's really depicted in it. That's why they believe this is the same comet. Yeah, because the sightings of it are described quite similarly.
Mm-hmm.
In 1222, Genghis Khan believed that the star was his star, so he believed that the comet was his, and that it was a sign he should follow the trajectory of the comet and invade the Western world. So that ended poorly for everybody.
Oh, he must have been real high when he saw that star talking to him.
Yeah, right? I should follow the star. Yeah.
What are you smoking? What is the opium? Where is the opium?
Oh, yeah, lots of opium, I'm sure. In 1301, it is believed that it is the Star of Bethlehem, as it is depicted as the first colored comet, and that's in the Nativity section of Giotto di Bondon's painting, which is another colored picture of it. It's beautiful. And looks pretty much the same, which is interesting that the Star of Bethlehem that would be followed in the nativity would actually be a comet. It wouldn't just be a star sitting there like a solitary object that was seen. It's a comet streaking through the sky.
So they're saying that it was seen like the year that Christ was actually born?
No, but it was depicted in 1301 in replace of the Star of Bethlehem. So instead of painting like the star and painting like a star or like a sun type star in the sky, the comet was painted in its place.
Oh, little artistic license. Okay.
Yeah.
I follow. I got you.
And that's one of the first recorded pictures of the comet in color.
Cool.
So
that would be a neat one to see.
Yeah.
We'll put that in the show notes.
In 1456, there was a sighting overlapping with the Ottoman Empire's invasion of the Balkans.
Oh no.
And
got blamed for that.
Yeah. In 1705. So this was I don't have his name, but he was an astronomer. Astronomer. And he was the first one to predict at this time that the comet was a small body just orbiting the solar system. And he actually connected 3 sightings in history. I don't have which ones, but they were the problem with his is they are closer together than 75, like the 74 to 76 year range. So I kind of had conflict with that. So he believed that those 3 sightings were the same comet instead of different ones, just because how they were described. So he predicted that and he's the one that figured out the life cycle of 74 to 76 years. But his sightings didn't match up with the 76.
So he
Yeah.
disproved his own theory.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing. Some of the other sightings I also excluded. Some of them happened like 10 years after other sightings. So some of those I excluded because that doesn't fit with what science has taught us about this comet.
Science says no.
Yeah. So it is the
Yeah.
only short period comet that is visible from Earth to the naked eye. That's why there's so many sightings of it going back so long. And it is the only naked eye comet that you can see without assistance that could be visible twice in one person's lifetime because of its 74 to 76 year circuit.
Right.
So if you lived older than that, you could possibly see it twice, which would be kind of interesting.
If you'd be lucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
up to Janarian. Get at us. Have you seen it?
yeah.
Podcast.
And as
It's
recent
like a radio show.
Pardon?
I'm just telling Grandma. What's up? Grandma goes, "What's a podcast?" No, it's like a radio show.
Yeah. They would be all up in podcasts. They'd be sitting there with their knitting. That's what they did when the radio was on, wasn't it? They were like
Yeah.
knitting and everybody sit around and listen to the radio all evening. That's what they should do with podcasts.
Yeah.
And as recent
circle.
Yeah.
Sorry.
As recent as
Yeah.
1910, so the sighting in 1910, citizens sealed up their homes, many wore gas masks, and prayed in churches for salvation. Some even purchased anti-comet pills that were sold at the time.
Oh, great. How'd those work out for them?
Well, I mean, nothing actually happens when the comet goes past. You can just see it. So
Placebos.
yeah, that was the second last sighting we've had currently. So it was last seen in 1986, and Halley's Comet will be visible next in 2061. So I'm excited and looking forward to that.
2061.
Yeah.
I will be like in my 70s. That could happen.
I will
I'll let
be
you know.
66 in
We'll make a
2061.
date of it.
Yeah. I find it interesting that I did try and look up how long it's typically visible for, because that's really only referenced once in any of the research I could find, saying it was 75 days. So 2.5 months, like seeing that
And
in
all
the
over the world.
Yeah, it's well, as the Earth's rotating, I'm sure it's only really visible
as
at
the
night.
world turns.
Yeah. And then so I don't exactly know what time of day it's best seen at, probably at night.
I just wonder how big it looks. Yeah, how big.
But yeah,
Like
if you actually look up the Giotto di Bondone painting of it, or Google Halley's Comet and probably click images on Google, it looks pretty cool. I'd be excited to see it. And then it last being seen in
1986?
Yeah,
Sorry,
last
there's
being
pictures.
in 1986. There's probably many pictures of that.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's my part. That's some death omens from around the world.
Hey! That was awesome.
Your turn.
I really enjoyed.
Thank you.
Yes. Mine, we put it with the death omens for sure,
Yeah.
sure. but it definitely is something that holds a special place in my heart.
That's good.
Uh, Talking about something from the Norse mythology, and you'll see, does qualify as a death omen.
Yeah, or omens in
Death
general.
for the whole world. So, and it's close to my heart because, well, we have, Scandinavian in our family, and our dog is named Fenrir. So,
Yeah, so that tells you enough right there.
yes. So we got to start with meeting these people called I'm going to say Aesir. Aesir.
The A's
Because,
people.
yeah, I looked up how to pronounce it, like one of those little video things, and it was kind of like Aesir. And I was like, I don't sound Scandinavian enough to know how to really pronounce that well.
Yeah.
But they are the gods of the Old Norse mythology. And of course, Norse mythology is like, from the Scandinavian region, like Norway, Sweden, and uh, Finland,
Yes,
and Denmark.
all those.
So yeah, really cool. Probably everybody knows a little bit from Marvel, like they know who Loki is, and maybe Thor and Odin.
Yeah,
So we'll just learn a little bit more about those guys.
sounds good.
The Acer were one of you. Sorry. They were one of two groups of gods or deities recognized by the Norse people. The other group, or the other tribe, whatever you want to call them, was called the Vanir. So you got the Aesir and the Vanir.
Okay.
It did say that, however, Aesir is commonly used to refer to both of them, but so that's cool. They were led by Odin, which you may know. He is called the Allfather. And some other notable ones are like Thor, Frigg, and Tyr. Where they live is in Asgard. It's one of the 9 worlds, located in the highest branches of the world tree, which is called Yggdrasil, which my man has Yggdrasil tattooed on his arms. I don't know if you know that.
No.
He does. I'll have to show you.
Okay, yeah, you have to
Uh,
walk me through all of his tattoos on time.
Patreon exclusive.
Sorry,
Everyone's like,
Pat.
no, but
Or
so
Patreon
okay, so the
exclusive,
North,
just pictures of your dog Fenrir.
yes, he's pretty damn cute.
Yeah, he's adorable.
But we will learn more about that. He's also a lot like his namesake.
Okay.
So, the Norse creation story, the Norse creation story. The first world to exist of the 9 worlds was called Muspel. I think I'm pronouncing that right, maybe? There's no way to
Yeah.
know. Don't at me. Muspel was a hot, bright place that visitors could not go enter, or they would burn. I don't know. Sounds kind of like hell, but we'll go with it.
Yeah.
And Surt is the guard of this world. He guards it with a flaming sword. And it is said that at the end of the world, he will vanquish all the gods and burn the world to ashes. So he sounds great.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
The second world, Niflheim, was dark and cold. The space where the first and second worlds meet was the yawning void called Ginnungagap. I don't know. Ginnungagap. It's that's the way it looks, and that's the way I'm gonna say it.
Good. Just
So Ginnungagap. So in the this yawning void between the first and second worlds, the heat and the cold met and thawed the iced water, which grew into a frost giant named Ymir. Ymir. Ymir? Ymir slept, and as he slept, he sweated, which tends to happen, I will admit.
Yeah.
From his armpit, this next part maybe not so much, because not so common. From his left armpit, from all the sweating, came a man and a woman. And one of his legs had a son with the other leg. And that was the beginning of the frost giants.
Is that incest if your leg has a child with another leg?
It's it's in themes. No, I don't
Is
know.
that self-cest? The first ever
Princess.
recorded example of asexual reproduction. Your leg having a child with
It's a
your other
pretty
leg.
cool. It's a pretty cool. Yeah, they definitely have some interesting ways of reproducing.
Yeah.
The frost was thawing, and as it did so, it became a cow called Oddhumla. 4 rivers of milk flowed from her teeth. From these, she fed Ymir. The cow licked some salty ice blocks. To her surprise, after a day of licking the salt lick, she found hair in her mouth, the hair of a man.
Oh.
After 2 more days of licking, his whole head emerged. By the 3rd day, his entire body was revealed. His name was Buri. His name was Buri, and he was tall and handsome, and probably literally salty from his salt lick.
Ugh.
Buri had a son named Bor. Bor marries Besla, the daughter of a giant. Bor and Besla had 3 sons: Odin, Vili, and V. Just V. So I'm going to go with pronounced V. Odin is known as the ruler of heaven and earth. He and his brothers killed the giant Ymir. Ymir bled so much that all the frost giants drowned. One giant escaped this extinction. Bergelmir and his wife climbed onto a lure, a hollowed out tree trunk, apparently. Their descendants are the frost ogres. Are you with me?
I
'Cause
think
I'm
so,
not.
yeah.
Oh, it's like you need a cast of characters
Right?
to
I need a
follow it.
family tree in front of me right now.
There was some frost giants, and now we have Odin. Okay, so the sons of Bor, Odin, Vili, and Ve, then carried Ymir, the giant, to the middle of Ginnungagap and made the world from him. With his blood, they made the seas and all the lakes. His flesh became the earth, his hair the trees, and his bones the mountains. Rocks and pebbles were created out of his teeth, jaws, and broken bones. It's beautiful, isn't
Yeah. You waste not.
it? They use every part of this giant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so dwarves came next. Maggots in Ymir's flesh came to life. The gods gave them human understanding and the appearance of men. They made their homes in the earth and the rock. From Ymir's skull, they made the sky and placed it over the earth. Under each corner of the skull, they put a dwarf. Their names were East, West, North, and South. They flung West, North, and South Kardashian. Or what is their, yeah,
Northwest.
whatever Kim's last name is. Northwest. That's it. Oh, we should leave them alone. I just hear they're getting divorced.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
both crazy. I don't know.
I know. I thought they had found their person. Oh well.
Their person
Neither
and
here nor
equal
there.
crazy.
That's neither north nor west. They flung. I'm sorry. They flung Ymir's brains into the air, and we had clouds. They then took burning embers that had floated up from Muspel and placed them in Ginnungagap to give light to the world. They told the stars where to go and what paths to follow. The earth was totally surrounded by a great sea, so they gave the giants lands near the sea to settle. The sons of Bor created a stronghold using Ymir's eyebrows. They named it Midgard. Midgard!
That one I recognize.
That's, yeah, they mention it more because I want to say Midgard. Is Midgard Earth?
I think so.
I should know. We'll get to it. No. Watch a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
No. Pat's gonna just like kill me. He's like, I gave you all the Norse mythology
I
books.
have books.
They're all
I have
in
a
my...
bookshelf of books for you to read, and you're talking about Marvel right now?
There's so much. Oh my God. Actually, and there we have a Neil Gaiman does a nice Norse gods book.
Yeah.
But, I would recommend. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I love Neil
Okay.
Gaiman.
Yeah, yeah. Gaming, gaming. I don't know. Potato, potato. Bor's sons found two trees while walking along the seashore, and from them created man and woman. Odin gave them spirit and life. Billy gave them movement, and V gave them clothing and name. Man was named Ass. Man was named Ass. Uh, I guess Old Norse Asker means ash tree. So I think his name means ash tree.
Oh, okay.
And the woman was, yeah, the woman was named Embla, thought to mean elm or vine.
Okay.
They are essentially they're like Adam and Eve of this origin story. So from them came all the races of men in Midgard. The sons of Bor built another stronghold for themselves in the middle of the world, and they called it Asgard. Later generations apparently called it Troy. Maybe Brad Pitt was involved. I don't know. The gods lived there, and there was a great hall named Plead. Hang
You have
on.
so many hard
Plead.
words to pronounce. Oh
I did not look that one up. I don't even. And I've actually taken on Duolingo Swedish for a little while,
my god. Yeah, I remember that.
and it's crazy. Oh my goodness. What is it? Turtle. Fullpada. Like that. It's like ridiculously complicated sometimes.
Yeah.
There was a great hall named something that starts with an H, where Odin would sit and see the whole world. He understood everything he saw. Odin married Frigg, the daughter of Björgvin. I've also heard that his wife is named Freya, where we get the name for Friday. Like
Oh,
Freya,
really?
Friday.
I
Yeah,
don't
and I've
know.
also heard that Thursday comes from Thor. Thor's Day, Thursday.
Oh, because I
I
knew
know.
from watching American Gods mentioning Neil Gaiman, um what Odin is Wednesday?
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's like from the old way to spell it or something like Woden's Day, Odin's Day. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there's the random D in it.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
That's very
It's
cool.
pretty cool, yeah, the influence they've had. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess some like his wife's name, Freya, Frigg, sort of interchangeable from what I can find.
Okay.
You might see Freya, you might see say like her name's Frigg. And sometimes you'll even see Odin just referred to as Ode, Od, Odd.
Okay.
So from their union came all the Aesir and all their deities. All the kindred that lived in Asgard and those kingdoms that belonged to it came from this family. This is why Odin is called the Allfather.
Okay.
He birthed all of the tribes. The earth was both a daughter and a wife of Odin, somehow. I totally get it. I was not smoking what they were smoking when I was
Yeah.
writing that. Just a regular old weed, that's all I have. So, Thor was born of this union, because Odin's Thor's daddy. Thor is obviously the strongest
Yeah.
and the hottest.
He's got his long hair.
Long, beautiful hair.
Mhm.
The gods also built a bridge from heaven to earth called the Bifrost, or the Rainbow Bridge,
Yeah.
called it. Although I also read it has three colors, which isn't all that rainbowy, but
No, that's not a
who's to
rainbow.
say?
You need at least
Don't
like
know.
5 colors for a rainbow.
It's rainbowy in the Marvel
It's
movies.
super
Yeah.
rainbowy and like that the immigrant song plays when you
Oh my God, yes. Exactly. How does it go? Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Rainbow Bridge, it has three colors, not that rainbowy. As strong as it is, it will break when the sons of Muspel ride out upon it. It is known that when this happens, it will break. I said that. Okay. Yggdrasil is the sanctuary for the gods. It is a giant ash tree where they hold their daily court. Its It's branch P. The branch of P.
The canopy?
Its branches canopy over the world that climb above heaven. And Pat's arm. Fenrir is Old Norse for he who dwells in the marshes. He who is my puppet. Okay, he is still depicted on many surviving runestones to this day. Fenrir was the son of Loki and a giantess named Angerboda. His siblings were Jormungand, giant snake, Hel, literally the Lady of Hell.
Oh, I think I heard about that,
And
yeah.
I feel like they maybe call it, they kind of have a Hela in the Marvel movies. And then there's that eight-legged horse named Sleipnir. Everybody's got one of those for a sibling.
The
And
black
apparently
sheep of
he
the
has.
family, the eight-legged horse.
I know. I actually only knew about the snake and the Hela or Hell before, but I didn't know he had Sleipnir apparently and Narfi and someone named Valley. So Fenrir is like the baby,
Oh,
even though he's giant wolf.
yeah.
Like mine's a giant Akita.
Yeah, he's so clumsy. I love him.
Okay. Okay, so Fenrir. And he started out tiny, but as he grew rapidly, the gods grew fearful. They heard prophecies about Fenrir bringing about death and destruction at Ragnarok. In fact, they were afraid of all three of Loki's sons. Jormungand is prophesied to kill Thor, giant snake. Kill Thor.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Norse culturally really placed a high value on fate, so they really believed in any prophecies or things that were fated to happen. So for Fenrir, they decided to test, quote unquote, his strength by binding him with different chains, all of which he was able to break one after another. They hoped one would finally be able to actually contain him,
Okay.
but they didn't want him to know what they were up to at the same time. So they were like, yeah, we want to see how strong
That
you
makes
are.
sense.
So when they couldn't figure it out, they reached out to the dwarves. So the dwarves were extremely skilled smiths and craftspeople. They created Mjolnir, which is Thor's hammer, and Gungnir, Gangnam Style. No,
Oppa Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style.
Oh,
Which Gungnir is Odin's spear.
okay.
All right. And one of the dwarves in the whichever Avengers movie and game, whatever, is played by Peter Dinklage. So that's awesome.
Yes. Yes. Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage.
And he gets to be such a giant dwarf, and it's awesome. I love
That's
it.
all.
And of course, he's got the big forge. Yeah, so they are fucking. They know what they're about, son, when it comes to forging.
Yeah.
So the dwarves made the strongest chain ever built, though it appeared very lightweight and flexible. They called it Gleipnir. Here's what it was made of. Are you
Yep.
ready? The sound of a cat's footsteps, the beard of a woman, the breath of a fish, the roots of a mountain, the nervousness of a bear. And this is the reason that none of those things exist anymore.
Oh, because they like
Just your
used it
everyday.
all up.
Yes, that's why you can't hear cat's footsteps. Women don't have beards unless you count chin hair. The breath of a fish, the roots of a mountain, and the nervousness of a bear. So Fenrir is starting to get a little sus. He's like, what is going on? The spectators almost seem kind of afraid. They're watching this, but like everybody seems a little nervous. So he's like, no, I'm gonna like do something so that they can't have this their way.
Yeah.
So he would not consent to his binding with these new ropes without some sort of safeguard. So he asked for a show of strength and bravery from the gods in return. He would let them put the chains on if one of the gods would place their hand in his mouth. Also sounds like my dog.
He constantly just tries to gingerly hold your hand in his mouth. He does that all the time. He's like, I just will gently hold this.
We named him well.
Yeah, it's like you guys knew. I remember when he was a puppy, he was like the size of a cat, but his feet were like the size of like a puma. It was just like donk donk donk. He just had like oh
Yeah, it's gonna be a
he
big
was so
dog.
cute. He like almost tumbled down the stairs every time he tried to go down the stairs because his legs were so long. But he was just
My mom says he's dainty because you go to like feed him something, you put it right by his mouth, like to his mouth, and he'll just like so gently take
he
it
is a
from
very
you.
gentle dog. Yeah. Any accidents that happen are just because he's trying to play and he doesn't realize his size.
It's
Yeah.
true. Big hairy toddler.
Yeah.
So that's what he said. He said, somebody got to put their hand in the mouth. So Tyr, the god of war, Tyr, the god of war, he volunteered. Eh? Eh? Sad joke. They laid the chains upon him, and he struggled against them. He twisted and writhed. He could not break free, though. They quickly tied the chains that bound Fenrir to a boulder. He looked at Tyr. Tyr nods back at him. He knew what this would come to, and he bit off Tyr's hand.
Oh.
They then forced a sword into his mouth to prop it open. He howled and drooled and frothed at the mouth. This froth formed a river, which they called exhalation. I don't know why. Well,
They
I
just
kind of
name
do. Okay,
everything
here.
apparently. I'm shocked.
Foam River. So he sits there. He's got the sword in his mouth, river from the froth. He's bound. And he got Tyr's hand, but now he can't even eat it because there's a sword in his mouth. I don't know if he was going to eat it. But what they believe it's that at Ragnarok, which is like, the end of days in the Norse
Yeah.
mythology, he will break free and take his revenge, running across the land with his upper jaw in the sky and his lower jaw along the ground, fire blasting from his eyes.
Okay.
So shit's gonna go
So he's gonna like
down.
eat everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just he's pissed.
Yeah, I would be if I had like a
So,
sword in my mouth for how many years?
oh yeah, probably like millennia.
Uh,
Odin grabs all the humans he's kept back in Valhalla for the final fight. They all fight Fenrir, but it's not enough to bring down the beast. Fenrir swallows Odin whole, along with all his humans. So Odin's son, Vidar, will charge forward to avenge his father. On one foot is a shoe that has been crafted for this very occasion, made from all the scraps of leather that human shoemakers have ever discarded.
again,
I
waste
don't know
not.
why that's supposed to happen to him. They are about that, like those IKEA commercials when like somebody rescues like the lamp that's sitting, by the garbage pickup, and someone's like takes it home and loves
Yeah.
it, puts a new lamp in it. Yeah, I love those. So Vida, Odin's son here, he uses the shoe to hold open Fenrir's mouth while Vidar, oh, did I say Vida? Vidar, yeah. Vidar stabs him in the throat.
That's
So after that, it's a bit murky. In one story, it's Fenrir that swallows the sun. In another, it's a wolf called Skull that does this.
okay.
And another poem has Garm as the wolf who breaks free of the chains at Ragnarok. But for the most part, I've always heard it was Fenrir. So it's just this, a little lost in translation over the
Yeah.
years. According to Herodotus historyblog.wordpress.com, Fenrir has two wolves thought to be his son. They are named Skull and Hades. Skull means treachery and Hades means hate, apparently. They are said to chase the sun and moon across the sky, giving us day and night.
Oh, I think I've
And
heard
at
that part before.
It almost sounds like a Native American legend or
Yeah.
something, yeah. Very similar. So, and the last part is at Ragnarok, they will finally devour their prey and leave the world in darkness.
Not good.
That is the story. That's my
That's the
case.
end?
Not good, no. Yeah, it's Ragnarok, so everything's dead. Everything's
Oh,
dust.
shoot. That sucks. Damn.
So he does. Yeah. He's the best. Yay! So catch us next time
Yeah.
on Castles Encrypted.
Woo! We should,
Please rate and review, because we love you.
even though we don't know you. Da-da-da-da-da.
No, not yet anyway.
We look forward to getting to know you.
Yeah. And next week,
Yeah,
next time,
we
are doing.
we're gonna go back and forth
What are we
between kind of different things, like lore and mythology, and superstitions,
Mixed
things
in.
like that. And then our alternating weeks, we're going to be covering true crime, so like murders, different cases, both solved, unsolved, bunch of different topics there, not always murders. Yeah, so we're just kind of covering a bunch of different stuff because we find all this kind of stuff interesting and we couldn't bring ourselves to pick just one topic, so we didn't limit ourselves that way. So we're hoping that if you're coming to listen to us for like the mythology kind of type of stuff, that maybe you'll give the true crime stuff a chance and vice versa.
It's nice to have a mix.
Yeah, we don't always want to look up
Definitely.
murder and crime scenes and stuff like that every week. So
Sometimes fictional murder is good enough.
yeah,
Murder. Or just conspiracy theories unsolved. I believe our next it was true crime.
yes,
correct?
we did Canadian. I did a Canadian serial killer.
Yeah. I did one from my neck of the woods, and I'm really fucking excited to tell it to you.
I did near the West Coast here. And if you can't tell, we are Canadian. I think we mentioned that in our trailer. We didn't
Yes.
mention it again. We are Canadian. We currently live in
And
Canada. We live in the
yes.
same city, but because of COVID, we're recording in separate locations.
We are in the West
Yeah.
now, yes, in
Yeah.
Alberta. I said it.
We're Berta
but
girls.
I am, well, OG, originally from the East Coast.
I
so,
am an OG Berta
sometimes my
girl.
A sound.
Yeah. I'm an OG Berta girl, the Texas of Canada, as I like to call it. Yeah.
Texas.
That's what it feels like. It's just a bunch of trucks and
I'm from the Maine of Canada because we are literally right next to Maine, so we're pretty similar.
Yeah, so
And so out of there.
yeah. So we hope you check us out next week. You can send us a message, which we're hoping. Tell us what you liked, maybe what you didn't like, maybe some topic ideas. Yeah, please be nice.
We're fun. Be nice, okay?
Yeah, this is our first time trying to do
Booted.
this. So we're not professionals. We don't have professional setups. We're doing this part-time. Yeah, homegrown.
Homegrown posers, don't you know? Doing it.
How about that?
How
about it?
I do not say a boot or a game.
Okay, my issue with people saying A in Canada, and I've always believed this, is in my life, I say I know hey, Hey, like hey, how are you? I know hey. And the amount of times people have only heard I know A, so it's my belief that all Canadians are just saying the word hey, but nobody can hear the H, or we're saying the H too quietly, and now we have this stereotype that we say A all the time, even though I say I know hey, or like hey.
But you know what? West Coasters say hey more often, and East Coasters, I find, say A. And that's what I noticed after moving out here from New
Okay,
Brunswick.
so I am partially right.
And we all go, yeah, no, yeah. Or,
Yeah!
You know,
Yeah, no means no,
No,
but no, yeah,
yeah.
means yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
Right?
eh?
I've seen those TikToks.
Like that. I said I know, hey, but you probably just heard I know, eh?
What do gay horses eat?
Hey!
Hey. All right,
Bye!
bye.
Thank you for bearing with us through our first episode of Castles and Cryptids. Our music is by Kobe Off Air, and our cover art is coming soon. We appreciate any reviews and recommendations. So anywhere you can rate, review, and subscribe, thank you. Catch you next time on Castles and Cryptids. Bye-bye.